Hello, welcome back to the plot on a very rainy, windy day. Not that I'm complaining though, because we've had about 5 or 6 weeks of really hot weather and we were due some rain. So it's nice because the grass was going yellow and the allotment just needed a good drink of rainwater. So I'm quite glad to see the rain. So today what I wanted to do is give you a tour around the allotment, see what I've got in over the past couple of weeks during the hot weather. Things have really started to take off. I've got the polytunnel that's quite full at the moment, and I've still got quite a few things to get in the ground, but they're just not quite ready yet. So, for example, I've got tomatoes that are still quite small, and I've also got quite a big selection of melons that need to go out. So, let's go and have a look. So I've brought you over now to the corner of the plot and I've moved my dahlias outside and I've also pinched them out. Pinching them out is important. It's actually the first year I've done dahlias, but I found that pinching out is important because it makes it encourages the it encourages the plant to bush out more, so you get more flowers basically. So they're coming along really nicely. I don't know what varieties I have in here because I ended up going on Farmer Gracie when she was having a sale and I just bought a load of tubers and I just whacked them in and not labelled them. It's classic me. But yeah, I'm excited to see those flowering. And then if we just come over here, this frame is going to come out. I've got some paving blocks that I'm going to kind of take all this green and the weeds out, put some weeding fabric down, some weed prevention fabric, and this is going to be the home of all my my blueberries and my black currants, and I'm going to do them all in pots, and then I'm going to change this frame so it's just a little bit more stable, but that is a next week job when we've got a little bit more sun. But they're looking really good. I actually did this here from a cutting. I literally just whacked a stick in and it's taken really well, so that's exciting. Then over here I've got my cucumbers, which don't look happy actually. But yeah, I don't know what variety these are again. I was labelling all my stuff and then I put it in the polytunnel there because it's been so warm and so bright in there. The permanent marker hasn't been good enough and it's rubbed all the labels off, so I could tell what it was through the plant, but I didn't know what variety it was that I sowed, but it is what it is. So I've got my cucumbers there. I'm going to end up putting a frame here, like a metal trellis, so that they can grow up once they're a little bit more established, but yeah, they're in. And then what else I've got in this bed is I've got a mixture of leeks, onions and celery. So I've done them in rows, but I've interplanted them as well. So I've got my celery, which I did from seed, my onions that I did from seed. I bought these leeks from the garden centre because they were reduced and just put them in there. I've still got a little bit of space here, so I think I'm going to either I've got some leeks by seed that need to go in, but yeah, or tomatoes or something like that, because they all plant really nicely together and complement, because the onion is so fragrant and smells really strong, it puts pests off like green fly or black fly, so yeah, it's meant to make tomatoes stronger, so we'll see how that goes. Then if we come over here, I've got my cabbage house, I suppose, and in here now I've got my overwintered red cabbage and also overwintered cauliflowers, and then I've put in some fresh, kind of my longer summer crop of collies and cabbages as well, and I've also interplanted onion sets in between all that as well, because the same kind of principle as before, the onions keep away the pests, so they're doing well. Over here I've got my asparagus, and this is my first year that I've been able to take from it, and I've done a bit rubbish of that, to be fair. A lot of it has gone to seed, but it's not the end of the world. I've still got shoots up. But yeah, I'd be lying if I said that I wasn't a little bit disappointed with this asparagus, to be honest, because it just takes up quite a lot of space for what I feel like the yield has been, so I'm not too sure how I feel about keeping it for next year, even though I waited 3 years and I was really excited. Yeah, it's just a little bit underwhelming, I think. So yeah, that's my asparagus. So then in this next bed I have got, again, a mixture of onions. You can obviously tell by now, I think, that I like onions. I've got onions and I've got leeks in here. I can't remember if I did these. No, I think these are sets. Yeah, these are sets. These are from the garden centre, and I've also got some mixed leaf lettuce and also some little gem or iceberg. Can't remember which one is which in here, but yeah, I've also got a rosemary plant in there. I'm just really trying this year to just whack things in and see what happens. I don't, well, I'm not really a big fan of following the instructions on the back of seed packets or anything like that. I prefer to learn intuitively and just see what works, what doesn't work. And so far, it looks good. It looks like it's doing okay. Then in this next bed, so this is my flower bed, and I've had a lot of lupins come up, but the lupins are absolutely covered in green fly, so I need to give these a good spray. And when I say spray, I mean with water and washing up liquid, and they just fall off. But I've just not got around to it. This is my third year with my carnations. I did these from seed because they're my favourite flowers that I buy from the shop, so I thought, why not grow them myself? And yeah, they're really coming into their own this year. So the first year I didn't have any flowers off them. The second year I had quite a few, but not that many. And then this year they've really taken off. So it looks like I'm going to have a good few carnations from these this year. I've also got in some calendula, which are budding now, which is exciting. So I've got some calendula in here. I've got some straw flowers. I've got some snapdragons that have just gone in. What else? Yeah, I've just kind of added whatever. I got a packet of bulbs as well. I think I can't remember what they were called, but they were 50p, so I've just whacked those in as well, and just going to see if they come up. So over to this bed now is another little flower bed. I can't remember what I originally had in here or what I planned to have in here, but I bought a couple from the garden centre. So I bought some snapdragons, some stock. I've also got some stock in here from seed. I don't know how well that's going to do. And I've also got some cosmos as well that need planting out, that need pinching out, sorry, to encourage more blooms again. So yeah, I've got a couple of little flower beds here this year. Then over here, I've got my autumn onions that I did from sets. These were planted last October time. So some of them are starting to go to seed now, but they're doing okay. They don't look very bulby yet, which is a little bit concerning. They might be quite a small onion this year, but hey, an onion is an onion. It's fine. So now over here, I've got my apple tree. So this tree I think is it must be about 5 years old now. So it was one of the first things that I put in the allotment when I got the plot. Yeah, it looks like it's doing quite well. There was a lot of blossom on it. It looked incredible when it was in bloom, and now it looks like I've got quite a lot of apple set. Again, I can't remember the variety because it was 5 years ago and I forgot. Then over into this bed, I've got, again, kind of like a mixed salad bed, if you will. So I've got onions, I've got lettuces, I've also got spring onions in here as well, and another rosemary plant. So yeah, it's kind of random, but they all go together. They're all friends, apparently. We'll see. Then the first tragedy of the year. So not everything always goes to plan. But this is a Victoria plum tree that I got from J Parker's, and I actually need to email them to let them know that it never came to fruition. I got 2 trees from here. I got a plum tree and I also got a cherry tree, which is over there. The cherry tree has come to life, so I don't feel like it's me problem. I think it is the tree, because the plum tree has just not done anything, and it's definitely dead now, which is a shame. Then I've got over here, this is my herb bed, which I've got chives in, which have spread everywhere, but I'm not complaining because the bumblebees absolutely love them. Like, there's literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bumblebees on this. They just seem to sit here and take the pollen. They just love it, but it's nice. It's good to see. I've also got rosemary in here, lettuces, my sage plant, which is in its 2nd year, which is loving life. It's doing really well. I've got some coriander in there that I've done from seed, some fennel, which self-seeded, self-sowed from somewhere, but it did it in a good place, so I've kept it. And I've also got some thyme in there as well. So if we come over to here, I've got another flower bed, and I've got some snapdragons in here. I really love snapdragons, and I tried to do them last year, and yeah, with not much luck, to be honest. They didn't do very well. But I've also got sunflowers in here as well. Then over here, I've got space for another bed. I have actually got the bed. I just need to get it down and do it properly. I've got some weed fabric on order on its way. So once I've got that, I can crack on with this and the other thing that I needed to do with the weed fabric. Over here, then I've got my rhubarb plant. I've not had any off it this year because I don't know, it looks a bit small to take anything off it. I don't know what anybody thinks, but I just kind of feel a bit sorry for it. I don't really want to take anything from it. But I've also got onions in there as well, because apparently rhubarb and onions are good companions. In here, this was an empty bed, and I had nasturtiums in there last year, and I've got nasturtiums in here this year again, so they've self-seeded quite prolifically. Not that I'm complaining, because it's practically free plants in my head. So I'm going to leave that. I'm going to leave them there, and I'm also probably going to put onion salads and stuff in there again. I'm starting to think I've got quite a lot of salad beds, but I eat a lot of salad and onions. So this bed is empty at the moment, and this is going to be a sweet corn bed, and I'm also going to put peas in here as well. But that's a work in progress. I'm waiting for my sweet corn. My sweet corn was one of the casualties in the greenhouse at home, so I'm hoping that it all comes back. Okay, so this bed, I have got peas, lettuces, and I've also got a courgette planting. I don't know what I'm going to do for the rest of this half. I think I'm going to probably do maybe another courgette plant, some more peas. Then over here, I've got my, well, this lifts, oh, not from this side. This is going to be my melon tunnel. So it lifts up like that. I have got some plastic coming soon for this. So when it is here and when the garlic's done, because at the moment I've got my garlic in here, and I've also got some onions that I put in last year. And I've also got some sunflowers, which I don't know where these have come from, but I feel too bad to pull them out. But they are going to have to come out when the plastic's here. But yeah, so I've got my garlic, which looks amazing. I'm really excited for my garlic this year. I didn't do any last year because I forgot and I missed the time window, and yeah. So this year I've done a lot. I've doubled up. So I've got this bed and another bed. It's starting to scape, so I need to cut those off. But yeah, my garlic's looking good. Garlic's looking strong. Then over here, this is a new addition this year. And I'm glad it's still standing actually, because it has been really windy. When we put it in, it was sunny. But yeah, this is going to be my vertical growing frame this year. So I'm going to have melons and I'm going to have tomatoes in this bed. I've also got a rogue potato that's come from somewhere. And I've also got some peas that I'm going to grow up the corners. This year, I guess, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm really just trying to use the best of my space to try and utilise it as much as possible. So kind of like the corners, if I can grow something up here, it's going in. But yeah, if you can see here, this is the idea. So I've got one of my tomato plants set up ready, and it goes in with a metal tent peg, clips in, and then you just wrap it round, and then as the tomato grows, it will wrap around the string and be held stable by here. That's the idea anyway. So yeah, I've got spring onions in there as well to help keep the pests away from the tomatoes. I'm also going to put some basil in here as well, because apparently basil can help tomatoes taste better. I don't know how true that is. But yeah, this is going to be my vertical growing bed. I'm quite excited to see how that goes. Then over here, I've got my strawberry bed, and I really didn't think this year that I was going to get any strawberries from it, but they're doing really well. I'm very surprised. I've had 2 off here already, which I've eaten myself. But yeah, I can see there's quite a lot ready to be picked off these. So my strawberry bed was over here, but it's been moved now to this bed purely because the bed over there is an absolute wreck. It was one of the first beds that I put in. It wasn't no dig. We literally built a bed, put soil down, and planted strawberries in it. So it's been taken over by couch grass, and last year they just strangled all of my strawberries, which, you know, wasn't fun for the strawberries and not fun for me because I didn't get any. So I've moved the beds. I'm going to weed fabric that and build that into a proper bed, give it a bit of a upgrade. My auntie has some composite decking that she has left over from doing her garden up, which she's kindly donated to me. So I'm going to use that to build the beds instead of buying wood. So yeah, try to keep costs down in that respect and also prevent stuff from going to waste. This bed is another bed of garlic, so it's starting to yellow off now. This garlic was put in sooner than this garlic over here, so I imagine this will be ready quicker than that, but we'll see. I've got no idea what garlic type I've got. I just bought like a big bag mixed and whacked them in. So yeah, like I say, I must have over 50 garlic plants in this bed alone, and possibly at least 20, 30 in there. So yeah, I'm gonna stink basically. So yeah, I've also got another addition to the allotment this year, which is this growing frame. I'm again trying to try new things this year, so trying to do a bit more vertical growing. So I've got 2 squashes here, and I'm planning to grow the squash up the frame, and I'm also going to put, I don't know, maybe melons this side and grow them up that way, so it will support on the frame, so that's exciting. And then in this bed I've got my onions in, as obviously the squash, and I'm also going to have tomatoes in here as well. I'm thinking that I might have melons and tomatoes growing up a frame on this side as well, but I'm undecided at that. And then finally I've got these bags. I ended up getting 3 tons of compost delivered, naively not realising how much 3 tons of compost was. I didn't need it on the beds, so I've packed it up in these bags. I've also got 2 compost bins. I've got all that is full of compost, but it'll be fine for next year and whatnot. So I'm just trying to use this space I just whacked in some potatoes that I got from the garden centre for 50p, whacked them in, see what happens. So I've got 4 bags there. I'm probably going to do some more. And then I think in these boxes and beds, I'll lift up the lids and use it as like a salad, another salad bed, just like have succession sowed lettuce, and stuff like that. So yeah, that is what I've got going on. Oh, I've also got a little cherry tree here. I don't think it's going to blossom this year. But yeah, excited to see how that does. And I had quite a lot of empty, wasted space here, or I felt it was wasted. So I've just put a tray and a trellis here to grow some peas up as well. So something that isn't really an allotment update, but it kind of is because these are at the allotment. But I now have 2 beehives, which is really exciting. So this one does actually have bees in it at the moment. Because it's raining, they won't come out. They're a bit YouTube shy. I currently don't have a queen in this one, but there is a queen cell. So I'm coming back in a couple of days to check if she's been born. And this is my newest hive, which doesn't have any bees in it yet. But I've got a queen on the way in the post. So yeah, this is 2 really exciting new additions to the allotment this year, to my kind of gardening allotment journey, and now also beekeeping journey. So yeah, I'm hoping to give a few more updates about how my bees are doing once they're a little bit more set up and established. So that's the May allotment on this very windy, rainy day. Yeah, I'm really happy where everything is, and I've still got quite a lot of planting out to do. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.